Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk. And you tuned in to another Prison Talk. This video is sponsored by Yard Time. It's available at freshoutseries.com. Hit that yard, put that work in. You know how we do it. Got a question from a viewer about what do you do when you're put in a situation in prison where you have to take somebody out. You have to kill someone. Now that's a heavy burden. And if you're in a gang situation and you're called upon, you have to execute, or else you will be the next person on that list. If it's not a gang situation, most likely it's you or them, meaning somebody really has it out for you and you gotten word. So a lot of times it's better for you to initiate rather than being initiated on. And yeah, man, it's a shitty situation, man, in prison. You're dealing with a really barbaric but ultra masculine, testosterone driven, violent driven, barbaric environment. You can't explain it to the popos that, you know, you got to go and take this person's life because they're trying to take your life, or you got to neutralize them. You just got to operate under the radar, man. And typically a situation like that would be that somebody is no good. You know, they either did something that's so unbecoming under prison code or despicable that there's a green light on them. Maybe they ratted. Maybe they were an informant. Maybe they were a pedophile. Maybe they did something really heinous and it you know, was exposed, and it has to be dealt with. You know, as far as somebody trying to put a green light on, you know, you as the individual, only you would know based on your case or something you had did in the past. It'd also be like maybe you were involved in hitting somebody else on the street. You know, you were involved in a murder on the street and it came out and everybody knew, and now you're in jail with the person who, you know, you were involved in that murder and they're waiting for you. Or you were involved in a case in somebody else's murder and somebody found out you were there and they paid somebody in prison to hit you. That happens too. You thinking you free and clear, and the family of the victim, street justice. It happens. And you know, on the street, you know, you can bust from a distance, shoot wild, whatever you're doing, run around. You don't even see the person, most likely, if you did, you know, take somebody, you don't even see them drop. You don't see their face. You don't see any of that. You don't see their expression. You don't actually watch them take their last breath. But when you're in prison, you got to see all that. You see somebody in pain, somebody fighting back, you know, physical combat, up close. You gotta get you a blinky, and you gotta go up in there. run up in the cell and you're jabbing somebody. And there's, it's not like you got cover up. There's blood everywhere, people screaming, there's cameras, there's potential witnesses. If it's a yard situation, it's just, dude, it's on the yard. You might get shot at on the yard. If it's in the laundry, it's you and them, and then you got to try to get out of there. And just, there's DNA evidence. There's all kind of shit. It's a murder, man. And then how do you defend yourself against a murder in prison? You say it's self-defense. And that's the thing. It's like you got to argue that, oh, man, this person was going to kill me, or they had a knife. I was defending myself. And, at what point did you stop? Did you stop to see if they were still breathing? And, person died, bleeds out. They charge you with the murder. You got to go to prison court, which ain't the same. And then they take you to regular court. And then, they can re-indict you. And then you're trying to fight that legally. Or if you get stuck, you got to, and if you don't die, you got to, keep your mouth shut. Because if you tell, then that creates a whole nother scenario in prison. It's very ugly, man. Very ugly when you're dealing with, a murder situation in prison, or, a hit situation, where you got to be a torpedo. You got to try to deal with somebody and not get caught. It's a very ugly situation. And you don't want the green light on you, because a lot of times that just keeps going everywhere you go. Another green light, green light, green light. You got to take these. You got to let these dudes know you ain't playing. I know somebody who dealt with that, and they were straight savage, and it wasn't because they had any beef with these people on the street, but it's because this person was not gonna be bullied in prison. If you're not being bullied, you don't go for it. Shit kicks off. You knock some dudes down, and they see that you're a hitter. Now they want to get you. So you got to stay ready. You got to keep either, as soon as you get somewhere, you go get you a broomstick, sharpen it up, or get you some a toothbrush, or get somebody in the kitchen, get you something. You just got to stay ready, because you never know on the way to chow, coming out of the shower, going to commissary, coming from the yard, going to the library. This doesn't matter. Some people, they'll try to hit you right in front of the guards because they figure that's the safest spot, and then they don't have to kill you because the guards are going to break it up before they kill you. Therefore, they don't get a murder, but they still execute it. And you got people trying to bully you in prison. Oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And, you don't roll with it, then they feel like it's disrespect because you're not doing what they say. So it's your will against their will. And it's ugly. But that's what you deal with. And you don't want to be just a victim. A lot of these people out here, they dance around and they're acting like, oh man, this is a game. It ain't a game, man. Maybe in some places in your state, you might think it's a game, but you get to some places where people don't have anything to live for. They've already pretty much checked out. They're just a walking tomb, pretty much. And they are like, oh man, this person right here, I don't like them. I've heard this about them. They've experienced this part of life. Because some people never experienced life. So when they hear that you were living the life and you come in there, they don't want you to, and you're going home, they don't want you to get back out and experience more of that. They're jealous because they were locked up at such a young age, they barely got any ass. They didn't even really get to bust cheeks before they got cracked. So now they're in there. Their whole thing has been beating their meat, maybe looking at fat guards, and who knows what else they've been getting into as far as trying to satisfy themselves, because they pretty much have grown up in prison. Looking at adult books, if they had any. But they heard about you. You had a beautiful wife. You had kids. You're doing this, doing that. And now you're in there with them. They don't like you. They're mad. Maybe they want to extort you. Maybe they want to, harm you because they felt like what you had should be theirs. This is all type of reason why dudes might want to do something to you. And you got to be more violent than they are. Prison requires you to bring out an animal inside you that is dormant, but that's capable of rearing up. You can't be no bitch up in there. You know what I mean? You can't be no softy up in there. You can't be one of those dudes. And I'm not saying you run around, oh man, I'm doing this and doing. No, you keep quiet. The quiet ones are the most dangerous. The ones who ain't doing a lot of talking, quiet. I've seen people, you would think they're mute. Cold killers. You know, mind their business, man. But you cross that path and you think you're gonna push up on them. They're silent, man. They won't even, okay, that's what you want to do, and they'll just handle it. Those dudes, those are the most dangerous ones. You see them, you don't even know they're in the institution until they strike. But there's killers up in there, man. You don't want to have to be a killer, man. You don't want to have to lose that. Once you lose that, or you have to like run up on somebody and really jab their ass, you know what I mean? Give them a sticking and see them, you giving it to them? Man, shit. That can't be, you can't get that back. So it's not a joke. You know, having to try to kill somebody to make it look like you're trying to kill, but you're not, because you don't want to catch a case, or actually having to do that to somebody because if you don't get them, they're going to get you. Not a good situation, man. And it can come from a multitude of reasons, and who knows what reason it will be. But it's serious, man. And I tell you guys, it's not a party up in there. You see people come home, you're like, oh man, you know, and they're, you know, doing interviews and talking about stuff. I interview a lot of people, and I've interviewed some people who have been put in situations, and you know, fortunate they made them out of those situations. But you know, there's always mental trauma with dealing with stuff like that in prison. And even though, you know, you're out now, you don't know how that affects your day-to-day interaction with people. And so I keep it 100 over here. Don't glorify this shit. And Fresh Out, we try to answer as many questions as we get from viewers to help you guys understand that prison is not a place you want to entertain, and it's a different code of ethics, and you got a lot of mental health up in there, and just, you know, people who entertain themselves with seeing, you know, sometimes inmates go at it. Oh man, we heard this guy's a gladiator, put him in here with this dude. Oh, there happen to be two knives in there. It's either you or him. Which one is it going to be? Survival of the fittest, man. Big Herc 916. Get down.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in.
Smelly ball sack and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt.
Fresh Out Ministries, we're doing a new program where we're doing a takeover of a mom pop cafe or restaurant, and we're doing a pay it forward. So we're gonna offer free meals at this particular restaurant or cafe, mom pop, for a certain amount of time, and we are asking that you make a donation to pay it forward so that we can continue doing this program for other mom pop restaurants and cafes, because we know that it's hard times out here. You have a lot of people that talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. And so we're actually walking the walk. We've been doing it for over 11 years on social media. We've been getting shadow banned. We've been getting demonetized. So we want to give back, and this is our way of giving back to helping everybody through these trying times with this economy. You know, a lot of churches, they got $100 billion, and you don't see them out here helping the people who are in times of need, but they're still taking in the form of donations but how's it helping the community? We want to build a community sense where we help each other, we can all overcome. You can't sit around, wait for somebody to save you. You got to save yourself. And this is the way you do it. So by us being able to do these takeovers with Fresh Out Ministries, with the mom pop restaurants and cafes, we want to be able to film, talk to you guys, get your feedback on what's going on right now in society. Hopefully you guys find it in your heart to donate. This donation, which is a pay it forward, will allow us to do other mom pops around the country eventually. But right now we're going to be in Southern California and Los Angeles, Orange County. So hey, reach out to your local businesses there. And if you are out of town in another area and you would like us to come there, if you provide the necessary means, we will come there also and do the same pay it forward. But right now, hey, if you're in locally in Los Angeles, Orange County, hit us up, freshoutseries@gmail.com. You can also make a donation on our link tree on our Instagram at Fresh Out Series.